Oui, oui.
I'm gonna roll with 2.
Oh, fuck you.
Okay.
Just because that's a whacked idea.
Okay. So at this point now, it will be.
So you've chosen Climax by Gaspar Noe.
Oh, is that bad?
Oh, you'll find out.
And Dan, you want to know something? The other movie number 1, was directed by the same guy as Brotherhood of the Wolf.
So there really was no winner.
No.
I would say to me there was a clear winner because.
But we'll find out.
Remember how I said this is like an artsy movie and they're taking LSD?
I love the French dancers and LSD.
You're not gonna like it after that.
It's a hard watch. It's a hard watch.
It really is. But you picked it, so.
So,
Dan, I have actively been avoiding this movie and dreading it.
have you never seen it?
I saw it.
We saw it together.
I saw it with Jennifer and Sam in theaters at the Lamel.
What year?
I know. I was kidding. I know. I was kidding. I was kidding.
2017,
Here, hold on.
20.
What's it called?
Climax.
Hey, you gotta love the title.
Well, that's the only thing I love about it.
Wait a minute. What are we talking about again?
We're good. All right. Hey, Travis. Or do
Hey, Dan.
Hang on. Stop. Do we introduce ourselves or no?
No, I think we should go straight in.
I don't know, Dan. Do you want to?
I'm Dan.
Well, why don't
no,
we?
I don't.
And if it doesn't work,
You just keep that in there. I don't.
we're not live. You know, if you don't like it, we'll just cut it out.
We'll do it live.
Could you
cut
say it
it-
again with your teeth gritted like that? We'll just cut
Yeah,
it
no,
out.
no. Look,
So nobody
no,
will know.
Dan, that's not possible.
Oh my God.
You know what that's from?
Yes.
Oh, we gotta mention that it's our season finale.
This is welcome to the season finale.
This is the story of a girl.
Who cried a river? All right, let's start with.
Do I need to say welcome to the season finale then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome to the season finale of Strangers in the Alps, a movie podcast where every week we discuss movies in a
Moviest way.
ramble. I'm Dan.
Travis.
You're dancing.
You're Frank. Okay.
Je suis Francois.
Yeah. Yuck.
So, Frank, you're gonna cut piece those together, right? Those.
No,
Why?
this is all
That
just
was-
going to be a straight, it's all going to be on the podcast.
Actually, I'm down.
In the podcast,
In the podcast?
we're doing a new thing. There's no script to this podcast.
and we're using.
It's a straight cut.
So, Travis, read the back of the VHS.
You want to know something
Well,
funny?
Hold on. In the beginning, it has the
We already
description,
know, right?
Yeah.
Well,
So
we'll
stop.
say it again.
Hang on. No, we don't need to. So, Travis, remind us once again.
You know what's funny? Like, you have to remind me. It's now the end of the second season, and I didn't have the VHS tape with me. I'm never gonna learn.
I think I have the VHS tape.
Hold
Give me
on.
a second.
I'm just going to read my text
Oh, yeah.
while you guys do this.
Sam, why did you put all those heart stickers on that VHS? That's a little concerning.
I love it. All right, I have it.
I have it too. You want to read it?
No, go ahead.
Okay. French dancers gather in a remote, empty school building to rehearse on a wintry night. The all-night celebration morphs into a hallucinatory nightmare when they learn their sangria is laced with LSD.
Sangria.
I
love it.
I don't drink
I love it.
I don't drink LSD sangria.
I got it. So before we get into this conversation, discussion /
Hatred?
therapy session, Dan, can I
You got that right.
can I just tell you that according to the director Gaspar Noe,
Oh, there was a director in this?
there was
Then, you know,
people have
I mean,
told
somebody
him.
actually had a plan when they actually shot this?
I'll tell you all about that. I'll tell you all about
We'll
that.
definitely get into that. People actually went up to him after the movie was done and said, "Hey, this is your funniest movie ever."
Honestly,
All right.
this is
And this is his only film.
according to his filmography. Yeah, they're
It's-
right.
yeah.
It's the most liveliest.
Yeah, and this is
he's ever done.
And this is the only movie
It only goes
he's
downhill
done
from here.
That critics were most critics were like, yeah, I actually like this movie. It's this highest
Even-
rated movie.
Roger Ebert
Yeah.
enjoyed it, which is
I
crazy
actually
to me.
saw that.
Yeah.
After I watched the movie, I did a lot of research on it. And I actually saw the Roger Ebert thing, and I was like, wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
So Dan,
So we're watching
a little
Irreversible.
background from the time that this movie was conceived, written, shot, directed, edited, released. Guess how big that period of time was?
2 weeks.
Two brothers.
Is that true?
No, not 2 weeks.
I have no idea.
4 months.
Yep.
Because they were like, hey, this big film. What was it? Cons?
Yeah.
Con.
They're like, Con is coming up. They're like, we should make a movie
Can.
for it.
Isn't it Cannes?
I think it's Can.
A film
Cannes,
festival. They're
Vinyls.
Look at that set of cans.
Check out her
Not
cans.
from you.
All right. So the period of time was 4 months, and I think it was shot in 14 days.
15.
Yeah, and then
I believe it's 6 months.
yeah, and then no surprise, the lead actress, well, the only
Sophia.
I say this and not even the only actress in the film.
Well, it's this one and the other girl that's an actress,
Yeah.
Yeah, because the other one, like we said, they're all just dancers.
except for 2.
Yeah.
Except for
Which was
two.
who was the other one?
The one that was
Um,
pregnant.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
I can see
it
that.
was
Yeah.
Lou.
Schweiler Jakub. She's a Swiss, and you will have seen her in Dune
Here
Part
and
2.
there. Oh,
Dune Part
really?
2. Yeah, she's Shawnee's friend. The one who... Have you seen Dune Part 2?
Yeah.
Okay. She's the her friend, the one that she's always talking to, the one that... Yeah.
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
about.
but
Yeah.
Dan,
That's cool.
Dan,
yeah,
did you
I thought she was good.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, did you recognize the actress, the one, the kind of main?
Silva.
Yeah, I will say
Shelva.
Sofia Botella, the blonde-haired actress.
Yes, I did not recognize her. No.
She was in such movies as she was The Mummy
Such as...
and The Mummy from 2017.
With Tom Cruise.
With Tom
Thomas
Cruise.
Cruise.
Yeah.
Oh, I
She was
barely
in
watched
that.
that
She
movie.
Not the good one.
I barely
Yeah.
watched that
Did
movie.
you see Star Trek Beyond?
Kingsman.
Who's in it?
It was the third one of those like
I
Simon
did.
Pegg. Yeah, you know
Idris
Oh, it
Elba.
was the alien.
she was the
looking
alien, the one with the white face makeup.
Oh, cool.
It was her, and then she was in Kingsman. She was the one with
I don't
the.
know why you went ass backwards.
I don't know, I
She was
just
in
like to-
Kingsman
Yeah, it was
first.
a little...
She's the one with the that has the knives for the feet, and she cuts Mark Hamill in
Oh,
half.
I love it.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
was
her.
it Mark Hamill?
Yeah.
Oh, that he was. Oh, yeah.
You forgot the best one, though. She was also in... what's it called? Rebel Moon.
And she was also in
You
Atomic.
mean Climax wasn't the best
no,
one?
and Atomic Blonde. She was also.
Oh, yeah, she was in
Atomic
Atomic
Blonde.
Blonde.
She was the lover of
But not a
Charlize Theron.
fighter.
I love
Oh.
the moments of English in the movie. I was wondering if those were all in subtitles and the rest of it was
Probably.
all.
Probably.
Oh, kind of like how Transformers 1, the scene where they speak in Spanish is in English in
Yeah.
the Spanish dub. I love when they do that. It's like,
And
yeah,
then-
no, that
and,
doesn't work
And then
there.
in Cow and Chicken,
Oh, yeah.
Super Cow speaks English.
Yeah.
Because
I love when they do
yeah.
stuff like that.
All right. So, do we want to talk a little bit about the director before we get
Hold
into
on,
the
hold on.
Do we want to do pre-thoughts? I'd love to hear your guys' pre-thoughts,
so-
big time. And I want to know who. I know who picked the movie. I'm pointing at him right now. But
No,
I
Dan,
also,
actually, you
You
picked the
picked
movie.
it.
Yeah.
Let-
You
let's-
picked it.
Okay, can we tell you?
I didn't. I picked it, but I didn't
Can we tell you?
I
put it
warned
up
you.
for grabs.
So, okay.
Either way, I was gonna lose. I was told.
Nah, Silent Hill's better.
So then, what was I gonna say? It was funny because I texted Frank. I was like, I was like, either we're gonna get a text from you saying who the fuck did this, or you weren't gonna say anything because you were gonna save it all for the podcast.
Oh, for sure.
But the thing is, no matter what, you couldn't do much because you picked it.
Right.
So either way, if you were mad, you had only yourself
Yeah,
to
I
blame.
was very close. Well, you gave me two choices.
You had it your way, Dan.
I was very close to putting a text out after I watched the movie last night, and then I thought,
What
you know
would you
what?
have said?
I'm saving it for the podcast.
Yeah.
I have it in my notes.
You tease
No, it's gonna be funny.
There's
It's gonna
actually
be
a note in my
You
in my
it's
tease
gonna
notes.
be
you.
Dan left the group chat.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ghosting all of you.
Dan changed the name of the conversation to Sound Like 12 minus Dan. So yeah, do we want to do some pre-thoughts?
I'm
I
down.
would love to hear
Yeah.
your
That
guys.
was- okay,
I have none.
So Sam, I guess you and I can kind of go together first.
I don't want to go anywhere with you.
That'd be great. That'd be great, Travis. Why don't you go first?
Can I say, because you're gonna take 3 hours
Okay.
to say it.
No,
Sam.
I'm gonna say. I was just gonna say. I need to pass this off to Sam because I just remember at one point we went to the Lemley and watched it, but I don't remember whose idea it was, why we did this.
Oh, so
Okay,
you were the
so-
2 people that saw it in the movie theaters. That's
Yeah,
There
great.
was
So-
a couple people in the theater.
It was okay. So then,
Yeah, that's
Excuse
not
me?
making any noise at all.
so
Frank's having dinner.
it never was stated in the film, but it's an A24 film. It's
It
like early.
was.
Yes,
They
it was.
just Read
It
it.
was, but it is not stated anywhere in the
yeah,
credits.
they
But it actually was
distributed
A24.
So I think it was like early on in the A24 career, and it was also early on in me discovering my love for the whatever. So
Yeah.
I saw it and I was like, oh, that looks interesting. But okay, spoiler alert, I do love the director.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, oh, I want to see what he
Concerning.
has to. Shush. I want to see what this is all about. But I didn't want to go by myself because it looked freaky. So I had Travis and Jen go with me. And we sat pretty close because it was kind of full from what I remember. We sat
Yeah.
pretty close to the screen.
People left.
Did they?
I think
I
so.
don't remember. But we
I
were at the
think so.
Lemley NoHo. And we walked out and we're like, what the fuck?
After the movie.
Like, what the fuck did we just watch?
I think we just sat there. We're like, we have to sit through these 1 second of credits.
Yeah. And I was like,
The
"Ugh."
credits are at the beginning. Frank, I can't wait to hear your story.
Actually, I want to hear Travis's story first.
Okay.
Okay,
Travis.
so
Because he's got something
I
to say.
don't know.
Travis, you're on the clock,
I don't
by
know
the
if
way.
any of you know this,
No.
but
boy.
this is an A24. No, I just remember. Okay, because that's the thing. So Sam, Jennifer, and I, it's a thing. We'll
So
go.
he's gonna retell the
No, I
story
was
from
gonna
his
say.
point now.
I was gonna say we watched and we saw. I just, like I said, one of us had picked it. We just went and we watched it.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't think I had maybe seen a trailer. Maybe I had. I don't know what life was like before I had seen this movie.
It was probably a lot nicer and more pleasant and
More
lovely.
calm.
I
There's
know.
Travis
With
before
positive-
Climax and Travis after Climax.
Where were we and what were we talking
Ooh, I
about?
like that.
We were talking about acid.
Yes, we are about to anyway.
Speaking of
Travis's initial thoughts, I believe.
No, I finished.
I don't remember where we were at.
Just
Final
saying.
thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Yeah, final thoughts.
Final
Oh, no,
Oh,
sorry.
sorry.
First thought.
Thank you.
Initial.
Initial
Oh yeah,
thoughts.
Frank, you were gonna go.
Was I?
Yeah.
Yes, that's
I don't
true.
have any, so
I remember we were sitting down
Who's we?
at
Where?
Not us.
Beyond Fest a while ago, a long while ago.
who's we?
Me?
Was this during the
and-
room then? Was this when they were
I
doing?
believe it was.
It's
Yeah.
when they also showed the trailer for
Phantom of the
for
Paradise.
Phantom of the Paradise. Yeah, we were there, but the thing is, Sam, is sorry, Frank, I don't mean to hijack your story. Is we might not have seen it much because Sam, we were in line.
Yeah, you
For
guys
the
were at
popcorn?
No, for because
Oh.
Tommy was there.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
that's correct.
Got my football signed
Yeah.
by the whistle.
You got your balls signed.
Yeah.
So yeah, while you guys were waiting for that, I was sitting down watching trailers with no sound.
By yourself.
Yeah.
There
But
wasn't any sound.
No, it was very minimal. You could barely hear it. But I remember watching the trailer for Phantom of the Paradise and going, writing that down. And then I saw the trailer for Climax and I was like, writing that down. And then I went out and watched them
And
eventually.
then you saw the trailer for
Did
Chopping.
you see Climax in a theater?
I did not. When it came out, I wasn't really
Did anybody
going.
see Climax in a theater? I can't
Yes,
remember
us
yours.
too. Sam and I did.
Right. At Lemley.
Were you
Right.
paying attention?
Not really.
But I remember the visuals being very striking and going, that looks like it'll be interesting. I'll check that out later.
Well, let's dive in. No time like the present.
Okay, so
Speaking of
before we
presents,
start, this film, Dan, had a screenplay of 5 pages. The screenplay was 5 pages long, which is why
It doesn't surprise
which
me.
is why
it felt very
the
improvised to me.
actress, yeah, that's what they really wanted. Which is why the actress Sophia
Butella.
Botella was very hesitant, and she actually turned it down at first. She was like, "I don't want to do this movie because there's no script. You're asking me to heavily improvise," and then she decided to do it.
Well, yes.
Well,
She's
that's what
in
I'm
the movie.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently she did decide to do it.
Apparently, I'm out of here.
she actually just decided she didn't want to do it right
yeah.
now.
So
Yeah.
they it was. They
Once they yelled
the
cut, she's
movie,
like, you know what?
the movie I saw in
I'm
theaters,
good.
the movie I saw in theaters and the home video version were different because she's decided to do it. So then they reshot the whole thing for the home video version.
Yeah.
Dan
they-
just can't wait for the final thoughts.
So they shot chronologically
I'm just
over
getting
15
ready to
days.
talk about the movie. Go ahead.
So they shot chronologically over 15 days, as you know. It was mostly improvised, like Travis said.
Where was it shot?
France.
Isn't the director Brazilian?
I think he's
I believe he actually is, but he was born and raised in France, I believe.
Well, that would not make him Brazilian then if he was born in France. That would make him French.
Brazilian.
Why did I see Brazilian when I looked him up? Or am I misstepping here?
No, you're correct. He is not ethnically.
he's not technically French, but he lives a French life.
Yeah.
Don't we all?
He's Argentine Italian.
Argentina, that's
But he
right.
is based
Argentalian.
in Paris.
There you go.
Okay, yeah, he was born in Buenos Aires.
Oh, that's
What's
the capital. That's the
new,
capital
Buenos
of Brazil.
Aires?
That's the capital. No.
No, that's Rio.
Oh, Rio.
Oh, sorry. It's not Rio.
So Dan, how would you feel about this as an actor? So apparently, each scene was shot in about, other than that last, that last shot that's 45 minutes long. Other than that,
I sure do.
Other than that,
It's your favorite shot of the movie.
now, other than that, all the other scenes, because with the dancing and the thing, took about 13 takes each, and they required, including setup and rehearsal, about 4 hours of time to set up.
I can believe that. Sure.
Because Dan, didn't you have to wait around one time on a set?
Many times. Waiting is what we're paid to do.
All right, so the next Roger Garland is going to be all one shot.
Actors are not paid to act. We would do that for free.
They're paid
We're
to wait.
paid to wait.
Yeah.
Exactly. I thought the opening shot was really cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
With
I thought the whole opening sequence, from the opening shot through all the interviews,
the Fargo one,
I
right?
thought
In
it
the
was
snow.
the Fargo, exactly. But I thought all the opening interviews, the dance sequence that followed. I mean, I thought all of that stuff was really, really cool, like really interesting, and it reminded me a little bit of. This is a bit of a stretch. It had a very Bob Fosse kind of feel to it. Not that it was Fosse's style of dancing, but the way it was sort of shot and the way it was sort of presented with that sort of intensity and that really, like, where the camera really was a big part of what we were watching in terms of how it was angled and shot.
Yeah,
kind of
very
reminded me
lively.
of Fosse movies. And I thought it was cool. And I was like going, where are we going here? This is...
Oh.
Because I will say this, though. I'll say this as a general comment about the entire film. I felt like everything, like the interviews, they were cool, but there were too many of them, and it went on too long. A lot of the sequences, I felt like this could just... And then the movie's not long. That's the weird thing. It's not long. But everything just went on, I felt, longer than it should. And I mean, I guess, aside from the interviews, I guess for the other portions that went on, maybe that's part of the idea of it just becoming way too uncomfortable and way too, like, that was maybe part of the angle of doing it that way. But just the interviews alone, I felt like we could have cut them
them down a bit.
way
It was
not way down, but I felt like every sequence I was going, okay, I'm good, let's move to the next sequence. I'm there, I get it. Why are we still doing this?
So, going back to that first shot that you said you liked, knowing where the movie is
Ended
eventually headed, well, I mean, at that point when you see that first scene, I'm assuming oh, okay, this is where it's going to end up, or this is
What
related
first scene?
somehow.
The Fargo
Fargo
scene.
shot.
Fargo shot.
the aerial shot of the
Yeah.
girl crawling in the snow? Girl
Like,
or guy?
it
I don't know why I
Girl.
keep calling it Fargo. There's no
I don't know
scene
who
like
it was, so
It was
It was Sophia.
It paints the picture of
It was
like
not Sophia.
of
It was Lou.
I don't know who it is.
It was the pregnant
It
girl.
never
The
goes back to that sequence.
The pregnant girl.
yeah, it goes back to it at the end.
Yeah, because the
Oh.
doors open up.
So
Oh, there you go.
Did you
Guess
fall
I-
asleep?
guess I
Dan,
checked out by
Dan,
that
did you
point.
fall asleep?
No, I did not.
Okay,
I
wait, hold
never
on.
fell
Important
asleep.
question. Did you take NyQuil?
I did not.
Damn.
You would have
So-
loved it.
Yeah.
having that be your first impression, what did you think you were in for?
Well, I mean, to be fair, I already knew before I started the movie what I was in for.
'Cause
Because you
we
guys
told them
went,
what it-
oh,
yeah.
Well, I mean-
not that one. No, you could have picked
But
the other.
also,
I already knew I was in
compared
for
to,
some
like-
trippy-ass ride.
But compared to what we had seen for the past 2 seasons, like, we're like, oh, it's fine. They always do this, but I always make it through and it's okay.
Did you think it
Yeah.
was going to be the same, or
Yeah.
Was it the same?
was it the same?
I mean, no, because I think the fact that Travis points out, you mean the Fargo opening? It's not like I haven't seen anything like that before.
Yeah, it's
I just thought it was
relatively
cool.
tame.
I
Oh, it's
thought
fine.
that was a cool shot. And yeah, obviously the first shot makes you go, "Oh, this is not going to be a good thing." 'Cause if this is our main character, which you don't know at that point,
Right.
if this is our main character,
Yeah.
if this is where we're ending, I assumed this was the end. Right away.
Right.
I
Yeah.
assumed this was the end.
So now you're just
and
like,
then
how
we're
did
gonna
we
go
get
back
here?
and how did
Right.
we get here? I didn't for a second think this was the beginning of the story.
Yeah.
It doesn't present itself
But you
that
didn't
way.
think it was going to dip that low.
It's like, do you ever see Wind River?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
that
mean,
was tough.
it was tough, but I mean, so I've seen movies that
That kind of do
are
that.
going to be brutal.
So now
This
having
was brutal though for other reasons,
oh yes.
way different reasons than what I was expecting.
So jumping off of that though, after that first dance, when they're having their little party before they go into the second dance number, and they reveal that there's a child at the party.
Yeah.
What was your thought then?
See, I thought that's not gonna pay well.
Yeah.
They're setting me up with a child and the mama and all that, and just what the dialogue's going on around it. Like, this isn't gonna probably end up well. Hoping for the best for the child, of course, because
I
I
think-
don't like child abuse in any form.
I texted Frank at a certain point. Let me see what I texted
But I will
him.
say this. Go ahead and text, and then I'll tell you what I wrote, my third word. I talked about how much I liked the opening. Talked about how much I thought the camera work was really cool.
Oh, yeah.
I thought how much I thought the staging was really, really well done. I'm talking. This is all before we get into the
The last
no,
drug
half?
enhanced
Right,
part of
yeah.
it.
Nope.
Hang on a second. But I said to myself early, they're talking way too much about this sangria. Way too much about it.
But you,
So I knew, okay, the sangria is going to play a big part in this. So something's going on because they went way too much on the sangria.
Yeah.
And made way too much out of them drinking it. Way too much out of making sure everybody, oh, she's not drinking it. I mean, they were just, it was just too much
And then the
for
mom
me to
telling the
not
kid
know
to
that
not-
this is going to play.
I make
Yeah.
this for my friends.
Yeah, the mom, absolutely.
Yeah,
There was just
it's alcohol.
There was just too much about it.
Was it too stagey for you, or was it just fine?
I thought it was very
setup.
stagey, but I mean, I thought the staging was really good.
Yeah, but
And the-
also, like, sorry, for
No.
his films, it's very much like that, where it's intentionally pointed out a lot of these things. So it never feels natural in a lot of his films. So for this one, I was kind of like, oh, okay.
Right.
But it wasn't, like, out of pocket or anything. It didn't feel weird.
No. I didn't think it felt weird. I just was very aware of it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he wanted to make sure
You understand.
that we understand.
Right.
We're all drinking the sangria. Because I don't want you to be, like, confused about what's about to happen. And
It's the
maybe,
sangria.
honestly, maybe if he hadn't made those points, I wouldn't have understood what was going on. You know
also
what I'm
gotta
saying?
remember
Like, I
they
would have gone, why is everybody acting so freaking weird?
You gotta remember too, they all had a 5-page. It was a 5-page script, and a lot of it was improvised. Like,
4 of those
did we-
pages was
did-
about the
yeah,
sangria.
did we get that? The sangria? I don't know. Let's talk about the sangria again. Did we get that?
Well, there's always that danger when you're doing improv movies.
Yeah.
I've never done that ever.
For when they were doing the interviews, did you think that they would foreshadow anything?
To be honest with you, there were so many different people that were being interviewed. I could not keep up with who anybody was. And I figured-
25?
And then when they started seeing him in the movie, I was like, what did that person say in the interview?
Dan,
I can't remember what any of you said in your
having-
Yeah.
interview.
Having
And
seen
plus,
this,
what they said in the interview was I didn't find insightful at all.
But the thing is, for me, when the German girl, when I remember when I first watched it,
The
I
one who
remember
spoke English?
yes, the taller one, the bikini
Right.
one, when she
The one
said
they
something.
think is the
Psyche.
one responsible for all this.
She was. When she said it, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then the ending, with her and the drops, I'm like, oh, I remember her saying
her roommate.
that her roommate was the one that was doing acid drops, but it's actually her. So when I watched it again the second time, I'm like, I'm gonna pay attention to what these people say, and I realized, yeah, it's foreshadowing a lot of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but and then having seen this twice now, I think that was one of the things too, especially since they were like, at least it looked like they were intercutting a lot, like between the interviews. I was like, I don't remember a lot of these people. And then when it showed them like talking, I was like, okay, I'm gonna maybe try to keep up with this. Frank, it reminded me a lot of like the party scene in Cloverfield.
Yes.
Like right before everything goes down when they're at the birthday
I
party
don't remember that.
in the apartment. But yeah, no, it's definitely, for Dan, to go back on what you said a little bit, And I think they purposely kind of like make these interviews a little long. They make the party scene a little
speaking
long.
of the mic?
Because during the interviews, they're all talking about, how happy they are to be there and they really want to be there. So I think it kind of did the thing where it was like, okay, well, since we know everyone's dream to be there, it's kind of like, okay, well, we're going to turn this into a place of people's dreams. Like, and now we're going to very quickly, because Dan, I don't know if you caught this, there was sangria. People were drinking sangria.
We're going to turn their dreams into
a
nightmares.
nightmare. Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
It's more than a nightmare.
So
it's
I think
fucking
that,
hell.
yeah, I think that was their whole, which I mean, like I said, I'm not, everyone, I think that was the whole approach
Yeah, I agree.
to the movie.
What I like though is during the dance sequence, it's very like communal, very together. But then during the conversations, not only was it just separated, but it also had the black cuts.
Yeah.
So it kind of really showed that they're not really
Connected.
And
Yeah.
the stuff they're talking about is pretty wild and vile.
And they turn on each other fast.
And they turn on each other fast when you realize there's something in the sangria.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
And no one drank
and
it.
I'll get into it now.
Or one person.
So I'm going to say now, the one reason why I didn't want to see this movie again was because one scene.
Because they weren't good at dancing.
No. I actually like the dancing a lot, and I think the opening, that first dance when they're dancing, and then the camera they have like the crane and it goes above.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really cool.
Same.
I agree.
Is because I just remember kind of cringing in the theater was the one scene where the girl, you find out she's pregnant, and the other girl
punched?
she kicks her in the stomach.
Well, yeah, uh-huh.
No.
Yeah.
Punches her first.
He.
Yeah.
He.
No,
No,
she.
it's a she.
Yeah.
I said she.
I thought you said he.
No, she. That's what I thought. See,
Yeah,
the first
I
time
found
thought
that vile,
the
actually.
first time I thought it was a punch, and then I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh, it was a kick. That whole thing, and then the whole scene with her when they all turn on her.
Yeah.
Like that scene, I think when I
When she starts cutting herself.
yeah, when I first saw it in theaters, I felt like I almost got sick.
Yeah.
I
I understand that. Sure.
that was the one scene where I was like, I don't want to see this movie again because I don't.
Oh, but little did you know.
I think it's it's the first scene that really starts to hint at just how bad things are gonna get.
Yeah.
Because before then, it's all just standard. Oh, I don't feel good.
Just
I'm
that
a little
in
drunk.
between,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
What's happening?
What's
Why do I feel like this?
But
sangria, baby.
I have to
Laced
say,
sangria.
I agree with you, Dan. I feel like a lot of that beginning section does kind of go on a little too long.
It's almost 30 minutes.
Because
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like a quarter of the movie.
Let's say
It's
up
like
to
20.
when do you think it stopped being too long? Because my feeling was not all the scenes. Once we tripped over to the other side and things were going nutso, then it wasn't doing that anymore.
Yeah.
But up until then, I thought every sequence and the two black guys talking about the cock that went on way too long,
Yeah.
way too long, and it wasn't good.
I mean,
I'm
not
sorry. I
only-
sat there going, I don't find
Well-
this vile. I don't find this entertaining. I find this stupid.
yeah.
Dan, and I
And
think
that's how I felt about
and-
that sequence.
and
Not
I-
all of them. That one I went, come on.
And
man.
I
See, this
think-
isn't funny, and it isn't.
It doesn't really add
I don't
It's
think
not
it's
gross.
supposed to
And it's not
be,
gross.
right.
It's nothing.
But again, going back to that's how he does shit, and it's not an excuse. It's very much like
No, it's a,
in your face, and it's controversial
It's an
almost, and
approach.
it's just like
right. Oh.
it makes you think, why do you do it though? Like, what's the
No,
point
no,
of
but
it?
that's really good context,
Right.
that you're bringing to this
and
conversation.
as an actor, Dan, and I can see that's why Sofia Boutella originally didn't want to do it, is if I was let's say I was director of this or the writer, and I was pitching the film to you and I said, oh yeah, there's going to be a lot of improvisation. You're like, okay, cool, maybe we'll get improv actors. Then I tell you, and all the actors we're getting, none of them except for one maybe have no acting experience. They're all professional dancers. Nothing against professional dancers, but I see why I would be hesitant to I don't think that's going to work. I think it shows a lot.
I think
in
the
the
other
movie.
thing, though, to going on what you're saying, I think you're making a really good point. I think if you're going to do a movie or a TV show or whatever where most of it's improv, you really have to trust the director and their vision, that what they're making and what
Yeah.
you're going to end up with. If Christopher Guest comes to me and says, hey, I'm making a movie, I want you to be in it, I'm in. I know what
You don't
you
care
do,
what
and
it
I know
is.
how it's going to turn out. If Larry David says, I want you to be on an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, I get it. Great, let's go. I'm excited. I don't know this dude, and what I just saw If he asked me to be in a movie, I'd say, no, sorry, dude, I don't trust you. I don't trust where you're going. I don't trust how I'm going to end up looking in this movie. I'm not doing it. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad director. I'm not saying his vision's bad. That's the thing you have to trust.
That's just not your thing.
You got to trust that what you're going to make, you're going to be happy you made or that you were a part of.
I think this movie will. I think almost every. I don't want to say step. I think a big part of this film, and the only reason that was ever going to work, is if every single person trusted the director and each other.
I'm not saying they didn't.
Oh no. I'm just saying I think that. No, I'm saying
It's interesting that you bring that up because go first and then I'll mention
I'm just saying
something.
I think this is one of those projects that, because obviously we know there's probably tons of footage that was never used in the beginning. They were piecing it together. It kind of reminds me where it's like I said, if you're there and you notice, like I said, you're having 4-hour setups for 13 takes. I feel like at a certain point you have to see something, or else, like I said, you have to have that trust in what you're going to make. Because it reminds me too, a movie mostly everyone loves is Fury Road. There was a lot of tension on the set between Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron, the director, because they're out in the desert, and I feel like an action movie like that where you're just filming little segments, it's like you're not seeing
the bigger picture
of what's going on.
You have to trust the director knows what they're doing. But I thought like talking about some of those setups and some of that camera work going through, like even like when we're getting deep in the party and things are starting to go whack. Of course it took that long to set those things up. Think about the staging of just all those different storylines that are going on, and some of them we're just sort of passing through as we're sticking with one actor as we see the other stuff going on sort of peripherally through these shots. That's really complicated. I mean, improv or not, that wasn't improv. That was a very well thought out. Those shot sequences were really complicated.
Immaculate.
I thought really complicated. Yes, and immaculate. I agree.
Every part of it, because I even think was great too, was like I said, when a character is walking and I don't know if you know this, Dan. They had the punch, so they weren't sangria, so they weren't filling.
I know, but the rest of the layout really that was crap layout of food.
No. It was like Doritos.
I guess we're just drinking tonight.
Dan, so I thought it was fantastic.
And then an amount of Coke.
So it would have
you need Coke. That'll straighten
So it would
you out.
have like the character just having the worst time of their life, and they're walking and they're almost like stumbling, and it's almost like feels like you're playing a video game and you're following a picture, and then you'll just see one character in the background just dancing. I think the way they revealed it and the way it was staged was so well done.
Yeah,
it was a little freak showish at times.
That's what I'm saying, and they just appear there. Yeah, it almost feels like it's like almost like a Horror Nights or like puppet show gone wrong.
That
contortion and dancer guy, the contortion. You kept kind of going by him as he's like doing all this wacko stuff.
So I have a question.
Yes.
No.
Continue.
I say yes. Go.
Thank you. For the dance sequence, yes, it's one shot. But do you guys think it's actually one shot, or did they cut it? Because I've seen some
where they
maybe some shifting.
I think there were some cuts for sure.
I think 100%. There's parts that are stitched.
Yeah.
But I think even then, there were probably segments where there was a long time between that, and even then, I think maybe they probably stitched like between characters, because I don't care what anyone says. They even did it with Birdman. They always find ways when the cameras pan. But no, I don't think it was all 145 minute.
Going back to what you said, Frank, I forgot, but I remembered. I feel like he did a really good job at taking us through this like acid trip, because everything started off really nice with the dance sequence and whatnot, and then with that stupid credit cut in the middle. Understandable why.
45 minutes.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, now we're really gonna like be tripped out, and it's not you watching them go through it. It's like I feel like you feel it too.
Yeah.
Because everything is just so out of control, and I like how he presented that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because to me, it kind of. I don't know if we've all been in this situation, but it reminded.
I've never taken LSD.
No, I'm
First
saying.
of all, I hate sangria.
No. I'm saying to me too.
So I would have been fine at that party.
We actually put sangria in your bottle.
No, what it reminded me of, and it's if you've ever been I don't know, with a group of people at like a party
Never.
or
A
something.
dance troupe.
No,
Have
I
you
was
ever
gonna
been part of
say,
a dance
and it
troupe?
just it's, and some people don't like it. It's like when you're kind of like sometimes like surrounded by like drunk people, and you're at someone's house, or something, you're just kind of like, I just want to get out of there.
Yeah.
But this time, it's like now you're watching this movie with it. It's like, well, unless I walk out of the theater, I'm kind of just stuck here.
Did you think
Yeah.
that at any point that you wanted to
Why
walk out?
didn't anybody leave?
There's
Like
no
Because
nobody
weren't
left
the
that party.
doors? They did.
Because it was snowing.
Yeah, it was
They
snowing
had to
outside.
kick. Remember they kicked that one guy out, Omar, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that was
Because that was
that was a violent act.
yeah, but then they kicked him out because it was like a snowstorm, so they kind of like punished him for it. But they kept saying, do you guys remember the title card saying it was based on some events of the
1996.
I looked
Yeah,
it.
It's
I
based
looked
off an
it
urban
up.
legend.
I
It's
looked
on
it
an
up,
urban
and
legend. I
They're
couldn't
basically
find it.
saying
Yeah.
it's not true.
Yeah, the urban legend is that it's basically the setup of the movie was that there was this group of dancers and they were in a place and someone, I don't know if you noticed,
Exactly.
put sangria,
No.
put LSD in sangria.
Exactly. I read all about it.
Yeah,
and I read some saying that it did happen, but it was no big deal. People got a
Yeah.
little high. Nobody got hurt. Nothing happened. Then I read others that said this never happened. There's no proof.
So urban legend, you said.
Yeah, it's one of those folktale things.
No.
Is it the LSD?
It started to kick in, man.
Yeah, dancing and stuff. I think
Dancing.
Dancing.
I think the movie has a lot of really good technical aspects to it. That
I agree.
mean,
of course. I mean,
I still
Sorry.
have to agree with you again, because I think I lost track of what I was going to say a couple of minutes ago. A lot of the discussions early on do take a while. They don't really add a lot. I think it's a negative effect of having such a big ensemble cast. There's 25 dancers,
maybe, yeah.
and most of them, as we've already mentioned, aren't actors. They were dancers or people in the ballroom scene that were brought on board. So like Travis said, there's only 5 pages of script. The general trajectory of the story was kind of figured out, but other than the end, everything else was kind of decided by the actors. So a lot of it is improv.
Meaning their storylines, their relationships,
Yes,
and
so-
interrelationships.
So there, in an interview,
Interesting.
one of the director said that when he came to the actors, he had asked them things like, what would you enjoy doing in the movie? How would you want to shock an audience? I would never ask them to do what they would not want to do. Tell me, who do you want to kiss? Who do you want to smash? Who do you want to insult? And I would ask the other person, would you mind if this person wants to do this or that? And generally they were all, yeah, they were like, yes, let's do that.
Dancers.
There was a very like open, collaborative effort on everyone's part, which I think it does hamper some of that progression early on a bit. It does make it feel real, but I think it meanders a bit, and maybe that's a difference in filmmaking cultures. But
I mean,
the first time I saw the movie, I'm gonna be honest, I hated it.
Oh yeah, same.
I wanted to like it, and I thought this was terrible.
Yeah.
Why did I want to watch this?
It was like obviously this
or
movie.
why did I?
No,
I
this
think is
movie. This
more the
movie is
question
like
at the end.
this movie was like The Ring. It's like the only way to like. It's like that.
I haven't
evil.
seen The Ring, so
It-
stop.
Oh, I'm just saying it's that evil that you just got to pass on.
I see what you mean.
It's that.
But
Okay,
You've really never seen it?
but I think that's a.
no, I
that's-
don't think I've ever seen
Sorry,
The Ring.
Dan, you were gonna say something.
No, I'm going to read some things I wrote, but
Okay.
finish your thought, and I'll let you know
it's
kind of where I was
it's
at.
a pretty long thought.
Go ahead. Dan has to read.
Well,
Okay.
no, but you're on it, so
Yeah,
stick with it.
Okay, so one of the things that really drew me to the story and to that trailer was the depiction of the ballroom scene. So if you're not aware, ballroom culture, it's a subculture of LGBTQI plus community. It's like a modern iteration of like drag balls from like the 1700s, 1900s. So there are these spaces where people, gay people would gather together to, cross-dress, dance, things that were generally allowed for a while and then not. But at some point, like in between World War I, World War II, when they started to integrate the drag scene, there was a lot of like racism, so that further like scene kind of splintered, and that's when Modern House Ballroom was born, so that people of color could go and compete, walk the stage in various categories, like performance categories, and they would win trophies and prizes, and it was all a very communal experience. So they would build these things called houses. So there would be like a head figure, a matriarch or a patriarch, who would be the mother or the father of the house, and then everyone below them that was brought onto this like makeshift family was like a daughter, son. They were all siblings, and it was very close, tightly knit thing. And there's a lot of very famous houses still to this day, but that scene isn't really captured a lot in film or storytelling in general up until recently. If you guys have seen Pose on FX, that's very around. It's all very marginalized communities coming together. So I thought that was a very interesting thing to depict, and it's really cool that it's mirrored in the making of the movie.
Unfortunately, they drop acid into what you just talked about.
Exactly.
And completely, in my opinion, that's what you're saying, completely just destroys that whole concept.
Not really,
it becomes
because
acid, now it's a whole different.
Well, yeah, that's where the horror
movie.
That's where the horror movie aspect of it is. But
you said it's not a horror movie.
I don't think it's a horror movie. What makes it a horror movie?
100% it's a horror movie.
No, I said it's not.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
What is by definition a horror movie? Maybe I need to be.
Let's look it up.
Re-educated.
He said
it didn't feel like a horror movie to me. I guess.
I think we see it as a horror movie.
Nightmare for sure.
I see it as a horror movie, but for him, he says, for him, a war movie is a horror movie. But he doesn't see this as a horror movie.
A what?
War movie.
A movie about war is a horror movie to him.
Oh,
and he wants to make a war movie. I don't think he should.
He's wrong about that.
He's
French, that's why. Italian.
I don't dislike him, but that's some like bougie filmmaker douchey shit.
No, I know. He's
a guy who would make this movie, I guarantee, is bougie.
He's a pretentious guy.
It's a horror is a film genre that seeks to elicit fear or disgust in its audience.
Then there you go. It is a horror movie. 100%.
But I bring that up because I think it's an interesting thing that kind of reorients my opinion of the film, because in doing the research, he mentioned that he was inspired by like disaster movies of the 70s, like Poseidon Adventure and stuff like that. But he was also really inspired by the Tower of Babel story, and I think this really mirrors that in a lot of ways. Like the Tower of Babel, so people come together to build this great thing, and then through the loss of communication, everything just crumbles. And I think that's really well
spot on
depicted in this movie. It's just at the risk of also lumping in myself with that like douchey bougie pretentiousness.
Oh, for it.
There is a lot of like there's a lot of layering in this that I didn't pick up on the first like go. So that I think the movie it's weird that I don't think the movie works on like a traditional filmmaking technical level.
Not at all.
But going with inspirations too, I think
it doesn't on any level as far as on a traditional level. No.
Yeah,
There's nothing traditional about this movie. No. That's fine. It doesn't have to be.
And I think to the second act,
break those acts up for me, would you?
I was saying, well,
there's only two.
Yeah,
there's only two.
So
You're exactly right. There is no third act in this movie.
Inspired by the movie Victoria.
As he's looking on his phone.
I just wanted to get the year. Victoria from 2015. Which was
Victorious?
No, which the thing about that was that movie is 2 hours and 14 minutes.
And we're watching that
and
now.
It sucks.
No, it's 130 it's 134 minutes, and it actually is non-stitched together, one take.
Oh wow.
Have you seen it?
I have not. But it was I think a French film. That's what inspired him to for that whole
assault everyone.
Assaults everyone's
Assaults
eyeballs.
our senses.
That was another one inspiration. Did you also see, Frank, all the VHS tapes?
Yes, I have that in my notes.
In the interview sections? Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll have any of you seen, it's a VHS tape in there, that movie Possession?
Yeah, I have a list.
Yes.
It's Possession, Suspiria.
Well, what are
Actually,
we
I have a
talking
lot.
about?
So when they're doing the interviews in the beginning, you know how it was like the CRT TVs? On the side of the TV, there was a stack of VHS tapes.
Oh, I didn't even look.
Yeah, and there's a lot of scenes lifted directly homage from the movie Possession.
Gotcha.
Like in this movie.
Oh, the one main scene was when Silva walked back into the hallway, and then it went from like the green hallway to the red room, and then she suddenly drops, and there's like a 5-minute sequence of her just wiggling on the floor.
Yeah.
That's lifted
Yes.
directly from Possession.
Possession.
Yes,
Possession.
I remember that scene.
But then
And then,
also,
Oh, you've seen Possession?
No, the scene she
We're
just
watching that
talked about. That scene.
But then also-
that was great.
do you have anything else? Can I follow up?
100% take over.
Okay, so then they also have Suspiria, which I wrote down because it's dancers, but for Suspiria, have you seen Suspiria?
No.
So it's like it's about dancers that pretty much go through hell, and it's kind of spot on the nose here in this one.
Yeah.
Instead of sangria, it's a witch.
Yeah, which is it's a coven.
Yeah.
And it also takes place at a school.
A
Berlin.
dance
It's in
school.
Berlin. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then I read this after, but there was this part where they were all dancing in the red room, but the cameras flipped.
Oh,
That
I
reminded
love
me
that
so
shot.
much of the new Suspiria, but he said that he didn't watch it at that time,
Yeah.
but it lifted it from. It was so coincidental, and then also Sallow,
Your favorite.
my favorite. We're watching that next.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
It's acting on the most like impure desires,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much what Sallow is. So I feel like sometimes with his work, it's pretty spot on, and I think because I also paid attention to VHS this time around, and I think that's why I'm more. Sorry, Dan. I like this more now because I understood what he was trying to go for, especially when I found those VHS and then watching it through. I'm like, oh, Possession, Suspiria. Like,
Right.
it made
right.
sense what he was
It
trying
kind
to
of clicked
do.
more for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get you. Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Dan.
I'm just so impressed by all the deep thought and rewatching it and really breaking it down and coming up with. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm not, and I don't say that in a
So-
sarcastic way at all.
No,
do you want-
I'm really fascinated that you spent this much time
Can I ask him something before?
dissecting
Yeah.
this movie and
Mhm.
really finding the brilliance of it all.
Would-
Really impressed, honestly.
Would you have ignored that cokehead girl that was lit on fire like Silva did?
Oh, her hair caught on fire?
That was.
I was like,
Not my problem.
I'm dealing with something else right now.
I actually laughed out loud.
Same.
I
I
just
was like,
went,
me too.
I just, what the fuck?
Same.
And then my favorite
And it
part,
makes me laugh now just thinking about it again.
and my favorite part about it
See, it
too
is a comedy.
was that when it
was
cuts
so
it
weird.
cuts to the next morning.
Yeah.
Right, and you kind of see
Oh,
like
yeah.
some people still dancing.
The
You see the
aftermath.
people, and then you see the one girl with the hat on her. She's wiping the back of her.
Just
It goes from
screaming.
her wiping the. I might be remembering this wrong, but it's
I
her
think
wiping
you're
the
right.
back of her head to the lady dead on the floor.
And then her dead child.
And no,
Oh,
the
the other one?
Child,
the child
this wasn't
lived.
dead.
The child was alive.
We don't
No.
see
You see-
the
you see his-
child dead. We do?
Yeah,
Well,
you
he
see his body.
was tripping, but I think he just.
Oh,
I
I
would
don't
like to
remember
believe that
actually
he's not dead.
seeing the body. I don't remember them going back
They
into
never
the
found
electrical
a body,
room.
Frank.
Yeah, they show his body next to the open
The high
panel.
voltage.
I
Yeah.
I thought he was.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, that's why his mom killed herself. The door's open at the end when she.
Yeah.
Okay.
See,
Yeah.
Frank, I totally misrepresented that as because she was tripping out. She thought she saw her kid die, or she
No.
thought the kid was dead, which
Interesting.
is why
I
she
I
killed.
didn't catch either one.
Which is why
So-
she killed herself, and then I thought the kid was just asleep
Lucky
at the
you.
end.
I
I
felt
thought the kid
I
was just
honestly
asleep.
missed that completely.
I wasn't laughing because it was funny. I let out a chuckle because it was so out of pocket. But when they were dancing and then the lights went out and then one of them goes, "Tito's fried," I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
I
Oh,
think
that's the kid.
part of me might have, honestly, there was a point in the movie, probably in like the last 15 minutes maybe, where I think I just parked my brain into neutral and just was staring at a TV screen.
Zoned
You're
out.
like,
that
you're on
might
for
be
the
where
ride.
I kind of missed some
Did you
of
go
those
get
things.
a carrot?
I didn't.
That was me and Solo.
I didn't walk out. I didn't leave. I never turned it off. I just think there was a point where I just kind of parked and went, you know what? I'm just staring at TV now. I've had all I can take, but I will read.
That's enough existence for
Kind
me.
of how this broke down. This is what I wrote during all this. I mean, and then I stopped writing anything. I said, this movie is fucked up. And then 5 minutes later, I said, this movie is really fucked up. And then right after I wrote that, Joni walked in. She had been home watching the Home Run Derby, and I didn't have the movie on loud, by the way. And she walked in, she closed the den doors. And as she was closing the den doors, this is what she said to me. This movie is nothing but screaming. As she closed the door.
Can you
and I
screenshot that so I can post it on IG? That's hilarious.
This?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
A lot of screaming, Joni.
it was just,
Joni.
to me, though, then I thought to myself, then you can say it, Joni. I thought to myself, yeah, that's all we're doing. The last 15 minutes of this movie is we are just screaming and passing by a kid going, no, let me out, no.
Cockroaches. Funny thing about that
Did you want
is
to say something to Joni?
no.
Okay.
So I was watching it at nighttime, and at this point, we had our air conditioner turned off because it was like, okay, it's, open the windows because it's cool. But the thing about my apartment is, like, the building next door, the windows are kind of close, and I have big windows, so I had the windows open. I was like, should I close them?
Turn the sound down.
Yeah, I did. I had to turn the volume down.
I turned it way down towards the end just because I don't need to hear this
I
in
did
full
too, 'cause
volume.
I was like, oh, we got. And then it's funny too because I actually texted Frank while I was watching the movie, and
Just before I started watching it.
Yeah. I said, it's so frustrating how good Climax looks and sounds on my TV. And then Frank was like, we laughed. And I said, and for the second half of the film, I worry about what my neighbors are thinking.
Yeah, you're having some
Amazing
kind of slam
soundtrack.
bang orgy.
You know what? It'd be funny if we do a post of, like, just us texting you, because I can have Dan screenshot his notes. Can you screenshot your text to him?
Yeah, I'll send it to you
and
right.
I'll screenshot mine saying Dan's gonna hate it.
Yes.
Dan's yelling at us tomorrow.
Yes.
You know, I have to say, the other thing that struck me in that during that whole last sequence is French hallways are so narrow. I remember when we were in France last fall, and you'd go into these old buildings. Man, those hallways are so narrow. Just like that. They all have this sort of kind of dingy apartment building, narrow hallway feel to them.
I don't like that.
I think it's just because they're just super old.
You
and
should
just
watch the
that's how
movie
they
Don't
built
Look
them.
Now.
French people or French?
And then I wrote, at some point this movie just needs to end.
And it does.
Then I
At what
wrote,
point did
I
you
am
write that?
begging for this movie to end. Right towards the
Death
end.
comes for us all.
I'm sorry, I did stop the movie, and I didn't realize, but I stopped it about 2 or 3 minutes before it actually ended, and I walked into the kitchen to get some water, and Johnny says, "Is it over?" I said, "No, not yet, but it needs to be. It needs to be
Dan,
over."
did you think the movie was coming to an end, or anyone when you first saw it, where it's like all the chaos and you just hear Angie from the Rolling Stones
Oh.
just start playing?
I mean, I knew when we finally got to when the fire department broke the doors down. Okay, here we are.
Finally.
Final sequence.
And then they
Really?
drank
and then
sangria.
and then you
Hey,
find
what's this?
And then
Climax
you
2.
find
Hey, this is
and then you
pretty
find
good.
out it's the
Blackout.
and then you
Climax
find
again.
out it's the movie 1408, and they're like, no one ever lives. Like that, the firefighters were fake. No
I was
one
gonna
ever
say
leaves
something,
this
but I forgot.
place.
Damn.
Huh?
Oh, I mean, clearly the pregnant beating was the most dreadful.
Yes.
That was vile,
Well,
honestly.
Oh.
What followed after was when she confronted the girl that punched her and
Yes.
kicked her, and then everybody turning on
Yes.
her. That was like
That-
hard to
that's
watch.
why-
It was
Yeah.
that whole sequence
Yeah.
from kicking her to the floor and kicking her right in the gut to her being attacked by everybody to her cutting herself in her cheeks, and that was a rough scene,
and
man.
that's the
Yeah.
thing,
That
Sam.
was a rough
'cause
sequence.
I knew during rewatch, I was like, okay, I hate the scene. I was like, well, maybe I could just like, and I didn't know it was coming at that part. So when it hit her again, I was like, damn it, like.
You're like,
I
damn,
was
forgot.
thinking, well, maybe I can just like look away or something when I know it's coming. But then I kind of
The sound design.
forgot to how I forgot about her cutting herself, and then just how like every single person just turns on her and
Yelling.
yelling. And I was like, even if I wanted to look away, I was like, there's
You can
kind
still
of
hear it,
there's
yeah.
kind of no avoiding any of
Yeah,
it.
and actually looking away didn't make it any
No.
better. 'cause
No.
It
then it's
actually
just-
makes
then
it
you're-
worse.
Then you're just
Yeah.
hearing it, which is
It's
awful.
like
So you fill in
stitched
the
in your
blanks.
brain.
Yeah.
Did you?
That was the hardest sequence
Right.
for sure.
Yes.
When I first watched it, I suspected something with the siblings.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I was like, they're fucking.
Yeah.
They're doing it. And then they ended up, and I was
They
like,
fucking-
ooh.
Oh,
Well,
Don't-
no, they didn't do anything, but don't tell Dad.
yeah, don't
Yeah.
tell Dad.
Don't tell Dad. I didn't do anything. Don't tell Dad. I
Yeah.
was like, fuck.
I mean,
Oh.
the lead up to the drinking, you're already getting that weird vibe from the overprotective brother. It's like, okay, you need to step back a little bit, sir.
Yeah. What did you all think too? I thought it was.
Why are you laughing?
Because I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny.
You thought it was
The part
funny?
where Sophia
Again,
Boutella.
musical.
Oh.
No, with Sophia Boutella, where she puts her hands in her tights, and then her hands get stuck in there, and she starts freaking out.
I don't think she was freaking out because of that.
Oh, I thought she was freaking out because she thought her hands were stuck
I
in
think you
there.
need to watch it again.
I mean, she could have because they're all having like weird ass hallucinations.
That's what I
There's
thought.
who was the one who was slapping the crap out of her own vagina? How about that moment?
That
Oh,
was not the moment.
that's
that
normal.
Was,
She didn't drink the sangria.
That was psychotic,
no,
man.
that was the other one that spoke English.
Psyche.
Psyche?
That's
Yeah.
a sentence I never thought I would hear you say, Dan.
That
Throw that out there.
treacherous
It was in the
bitch.
movie.
I know.
I made a note of it. I said, "Slap that vagina, bitch."
We need that on a shirt.
You know what?
Satellite 12.
Slap,
Joni,
what
I
was
think-
it? Slap that vagina, bitch.
Yeah. Joni, I think we broke Dan.
That was crazy.
On this second rewatch, I did notice her just lurking in the background a lot, just taking everything in. She was not phased at all. She was like, "Oh, this is interesting."
Mm-hmm. The curly hair girl?
No,
The
Psyche.
bikini girl? Mm.
Yeah, and then that makes the scene, the conversation she has with the curly haired girl. I forget her name. Too many characters.
Mm-hmm.
It makes
Are
it
there-
make a little more sense when she's like telling her that she's boring, and then she's just looking out at
Mhm.
everybody. It's like she's waiting for something to happen.
For them to drop.
You
Yeah.
know, there's really no other way you could have made a movie like this. You were talking about earlier, Frank, except for the director to say to all the actors, "What is it that you really want to do? Okay, are you okay if that person does that to you?" And there's no other way you could do it because you couldn't write it and then say, "Okay, you're gonna do this to this person." You're gonna do that. It wouldn't work because it wouldn't be
Register.
organic. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, it wouldn't be like something that they had any interest in. It would just be like, you know. I mean,
agree.
I just thought that right now, though. Just thinking back, yeah, that's the only way you could pull this off in a
Yeah.
way that you could kind of believe what they were doing. And it felt had a kind of a
Like a-
reality to it, some kind of reality.
Yeah, like it felt genuine.
Yeah, genuine.
I'm sure you know this, but half of Daft Punk helped make the music.
They did.
Yes, they did.
They're in the credits too.
Yeah,
There-
yeah,
yep.
no, they
I really
have.
like those credits.
Yeah, no, the credits
The
are.
ones in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, I thought they were interesting.
Do you know what I did when that happened?
You want to go make a sandwich?
No,
Drink water.
I reversed the movie to see if I was already at the end of the movie.
Ah,
I literally
Oh,
went,
because, like-
wait, did I? Was that? I thought that was the beginning. Oh, was that the end? And I literally reversed all the way back to the beginning to see if I had actually, like, somebody had
it
started,
accidentally?
Plex had already started the movie, and here I was sitting here watching a movie at the
Then you
end.
get a text from me, hey, if anybody's watching, sorry.
yeah, because
No, he's really good at credits, though.
too bad he can't make a movie.
Okay,
I'm just kidding.
someone better to differ.
That is the only movie of his I've seen.
His other one, and
Me too. And it may be the only
You
one
should,
I
wa-
ever
you
see.
should watch
well, next
Irreversible.
week we're
I was gonna
put a pin
say.
in that.
Don't
Enter-
watch that one.
Enter the Void. He did a really good job with credits there because he's really. I don't know who does the credits, but the graphics look amazing, and they're always with great music.
Yeah.
I think you should just watch the credits for Enter the Void. I think it's great. It'll give you a panic attack.
Hey, if you want to do a credits podcast where we just watch credits of movies, that'd be so
Yes.
freaking fun.
yeah.
Like opening
Yeah.
scenes and credits. That's
Okay.
all we do.
And then the first episode has to
You
be
know what I
like
mean? Just
they
like
use
the cold opening and then credits.
Frank,
That's it.
they
We don't
use-
watch the
I'm
movie.
down
they
actually.
use papyrus for Avatar. No, be like
Okay, I know you shouldn't watch Irreversible.
don't. Damn.
However,
Cool credits.
Cool
the
credits.
way they presented the film, or he presented the film, is
It's the one that's
it's
Yeah.
reversed. So the beginning shot's actually the end, and then each shot is reversed. So it's like A, B, C, but then you present C, B, A.
so maybe it ends with the first scene of the
Is it
story.
like
Exactly, and
those
it
like-
ends with
Is it
the
like
title card.
Is it like those scenes like where they were doing like did in like TV shows? It was like a fad for a while, and I think they even did a Seinfeld on it where it's like
Yeah,
the
they do the
ending,
story
then it's
backwards.
like 5 minutes
Yeah,
earlier,
an
15,
hour earlier.
an
But
hour
this one
earlier.
There are a
they
few
don't-
shows that have done that.
Yeah,
a
that
few
was like a
But
sitcoms.
with
trend.
them, they don't mention that.
Oh, that-
so
oh.
for a while, you're like,
Kind
what
of
the
left
fuck
to
is
the
happening?
audience to figure out.
Yeah, like weren't you just in the hallway? But why are you now in the beginning of the hallway?
This don't
But
make
you
no
shouldn't
sense.
watch it because it's not.
That's okay. I'm not going to.
It's got a 11 minute. Is it
It's
11
a
minutes?
15-minute.
15-minute R scene.
What scene?
Rape.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
but then they-
It's arts.
I'm good.
It's artistic.
Oh,
I've never seen it.
I'm sure it is.
I was like, I shouldn't watch this, and then it finished. I'm like, oh, fuck. I watched the whole thing.
God damn it! Not again.
But then last year they released one
Then I
where
reversed it to watch it again to make sure. Did I really watch this? Oh my God, I did.
last
Damn
year
it,
he
Sam. Get
rever-
it together.
last year he released Irreversible, but in the correct format.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was called
Reverse.
Reversible.
Does it still work
It was
for
called
you?
Sorry, my mistake.
Whoops, wrong one.
Whoops, here you go.
Did you watch it again? Just be like, wait.
No, but I bought
Did
it.
it?
You gave the guy your money.
Yeah, holy shit. So the first time I saw the movie, a lot of the tripping stuff, I was like, this is really like, yeah. But then I looked into it, and apparently this is very, it's on point for something. It's called stimulant psychosis. It's when you overdose on a stimulant to the point of like paranoia and delusions.
The point, right.
Let me tell you,
I
it's happened.
No, it's-
disorganized thinking. I didn't know this, but there is actually a difference between paranoia and delusion. And delusion is
The
what
lighter version.
No, it's basically where not even evidence to the contrary will convince you of a fact that you've already decided in your own head.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's
And that-
intense.
yeah. Which like, I mean, this again. The second time that I watched it, I didn't know all this before doing the research. I did it after,
Mm-hmm.
but it did kind of start coming together more. And knowing that now, it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, but
I don't wanna do anything.
LSD was always supposed to be a controlled substance that was
Yeah.
that was administered to psychiatrists and things. When it started, it was to open you up. It was to give
Yeah.
you a deeper understanding of things, which many people who back in the early days that were under the care of a doctor really like changed their lives. LSD was never intended to be just poured into a giant bowl of sangria, and I don't know how much I'm putting in here.
And
Let's see what
consume
happens.
just a lot.
So yeah, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
you could OD on it, and people did in that movie. So
oh my
One
god,
of the
did they?
VHS was schizophrenia, so that makes
Yeah,
sense.
That makes sense.
And then zombie too. Everybody's like in a zombie-like
zombie
state.
like
there was a
State.
total zombie aspect to
Zombieland.
what
that,
happened.
that was the VHS.
that happened
Zombieland.
in this movie for sure.
I thought it was interesting to name the character who does it Psyche.
Mm.
I
I
thought
didn't put that.
Not
So-
not to mention just the
Now you love the movie.
dumbass name Psyche of the character, but that's okay.
well, it's actually
So
so
then
it's
the
not.
book at
I mean,
the
was
end,
this
right?
person called Murderer and this person called
No,
Cocaine?
so here's the
This
thing.
person's name is Kid Dies.
I did do a
this
little bit
person
of a,
name. I'm gonna cut my own cheek. I'm just trying to figure out their names.
her name
The
was
second-
Cheeks
the
in high
second.
school.
Cheeks.
So there,
Cheeks
I did a little
Williams.
bit of a dive into the name because I know the name from the Greek tragedy, and that kind of like worked. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna look into it. Oh, they were on point. So Psyche is the Greek goddess of the soul,
Mhm.
which already kind of like tells you, okay, there's a little bit of commentary there. But so she was born mortal. She was known to be beautiful to the point of rivaling Aphrodite. So she was punished for it. Ended up falling, or she ended up getting Aphrodite's son to fall in love with her by scaring him, and he like pierced himself with his own arrow.
yes.
Yes. But I just thought it was interesting that they named her that, and because Psyche and Eros go on to have a daughter named Hedone, which is where
Hey.
hedonism, the word hedonism comes from.
Really, Travis?
Oh, sorry.
But I just think it's interesting that they would do that in a movie that's about, or in a story that's about the breakdown of like a human, like a person or a group of people, you know, like it really does kind of like you were saying about LSD, like too much will break,
Right.
you know, like
I would hope and think that a movie like this would be, and maybe not this specific movie, but a movie of this would be presented and studied in film school.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope that something like this would be, and I mean that sincerely.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you have so much context and background and research after the fact, that it makes for, I mean, this is an interesting piece of filmmaking. I mean, regardless of how you personally feel about it or what it emotionally does to you,
Mm-hmm.
you still have to respect the filmmaker and this, what has been, you know, what
Yeah.
he achieved in making it, whether you like it or don't like it. I at least at the end of the movie, that's what I felt. I had that kind of respect for it.
Yeah.
And I did do some reading on it. I didn't do everything you've done, but I was very curious. Like, first of all, who is this dude that made this movie?
And
What
why?
What else has he
Why?
done?
Right.
And what is this all about? And there's a lot of blogging. There's a lot of people writing about that. What did this mean? What did this happen? Is this what, you know? So that's interesting, too.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, that's what you want to do a film for, to affect somebody on some level. I mean, whether it's
I don't know that
Positive
I
and
need to
negative.
make a movie that makes you have to do a bunch of research afterwards to convince yourself it's okay. This movie wasn't awful.
no. Well,
See that? I mean, what I'm saying, I want to walk out and go, I really enjoyed this. I
Yeah.
don't need to
But
do a bunch of research now to discuss. Well, why did I hate this movie?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute, this is really interesting. I
Yeah.
should respect it now.
Well,
no, I'm
I
not into
half
that.
agree.
I'm not
I
interested
half
in
agree.
that.
Yeah,
Because
I mean, no, go.
because I think to the sense where sometimes I think maybe
But like
put-
into the mic.
I'm looking right at it.
You're looking right at it, but it's on an angle.
No, I was gonna say maybe sometimes something to put into context a little bit. But I think maybe that's
Sure.
I think that's as far as it goes. But like I agree, where if you have to literally do all this research, so just to figure it out, that's where I agree. I'm like, no, I agree with you on that. I don't.
But we do that. I don't know if Frank did that in this particular case, but I did reading and stuff about it afterwards because I knew we were going to be discussing it. If I just go see this movie in the theater, I'm not sure I make it to the end. Honestly, I'm not sure
Yeah.
in the middle I just go, whatever, and walk out.
Yeah.
I don't care what happens in this
God,
movie.
I thought
could
that was
care
the
less
main
what's
door
going on.
opening, and I was
So
freaking the
I
fuck
might
out.
walk out of this movie and therefore never only say to people, go at your own risk. I
Yeah.
didn't make it through.
I think you and I, Frank, agree with this. Where like, if a movie sticks with us after a few days,
Yes.
it's worth looking into. And
yeah,
for me, when we do research for these things, it's kind of like breaking down how the director was thinking and then
Mhm.
seeing that connection. And it's like, oh, for me, I appreciate it more because like I understand what you're trying to do, and I understand that this is how you picture what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Rather than outright being like, this is what I'm doing, it's like, this is what it stands for.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
And that's
Absolutely.
interesting.
yeah.
And
It's
that's
like
totally
a dissection
legit,
of it.
for sure.
Yeah,
It's just that and I'm not saying I hated this movie. That's not what I'm saying. But if I see a movie and I hate it,
Yeah.
I don't care
Right.
what they had in mind.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I get
And
you.
if I sticks with me 2 days later and I still hate it, I'm still not gonna. I'm only gonna tell the world, "Hey man, I saw this movie I hated. Go see it." Yeah, I
What?
think so. I think we can totally do final thoughts.
yeah, yeah.
Unless there's more you want to mine out of this thing.
I think that
good.
was.
No,
I
I
just
think
thought that
we've
was a very
gotten
good
deep.
launching point. Us,
Cool. Who's going first? Who's on first?
I'll go first.
Okay, so you go first. Should we keep Dan last, or should we
Yeah,
put him in the middle?
I think Dan needs to go
You can
last.
Okay.
do- I mean,
because he hasn't been forthcoming in his final
That's
thoughts.
true.
So I feel like we have to build up to that climax.
it's the
You know what I mean?
We're
I hope
now
I don't let you down.
we're now in the last half of the movie.
Yeah.
It's Dan's afterthought. That's the last half of the movie.
So this this is all going to be one take.
Yeah.
No mess ups.
Yeah.
Then
Travis.
first of all,
So-
the movie was not done in one seamless movie. There's cuts all over the
So
place.
the last 45 minutes,
Oh, is that
Yeah.
right? Really?
we had a whole discussion about
that
it.
wasn't
Dan.
no, but so the whole thing with the two dudes talking about the chit, and then it cuts this other people
No,
talking.
no, no,
cuts
no,
to
no,
other
no,
people.
no. The
That's all.
It's
the
cuts.
last once the punch starts settling in, the sangria.
I don't think that's 45 minutes. Is it?
Yeah.
yeah, because the dancing
Are
was
you just
25.
picking that amount
No,
of time?
it's 45 minutes.
Okay. All right.
Um,
He
Wow.
timed it.
So I will say, I know since the beginning, I have absolutely refused to watch this movie again. And
if we rewind
there
back,
is no
if
way.
we rewind back, Travis said, "Fuck you."
I don't
Once he
want to do
picked-
But
Shouldn't have
I
presented
will
it then.
say, though, I'm not the one who put the movie on the list.
Okay.
But I will say,
Unleash
though,
it, baby.
having seen it the first time, having now seen it a second time, I
And then
feel
later the
like
third
with
time?
the first time, like Dan, kind of how you said, I was just like, I don't really want to watch this. We didn't really talk about it much afterwards. It was just let's just forget this movie.
Let's just never
But
ever talk about what happened
remember
tonight.
I texted
last
you
summer.
guys. I texted you guys maybe a couple of days later. I'm like, hey, I don't know. I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah.
And you're like, shut up.
Yeah, and that's the
Let it
thing
go.
is,
He's
but
like,
I
"What are you
feel
talking about,
like
Sam?"
now seeing it a second time, and this was like what 2018 when we watched it.
20, yeah.
So much time, but there was a lot of the movie I forgot. I just remember going through it. I don't know if it's because it was at home too. I just remember being like, "This is not that bad."
You hated saying that.
I know. I was like, "It's
You
not."
mean it
He's
wasn't
gritting
as
through his
bad
teeth.
as you
5 out of
remembered
5.
it
out
being
of
the first time
no,
you saw
out
it?
of the, like, what I described, like the whole vibe of the movie and just the screaming and just being like, I hate what I'm watching and the tenseness of it. I'm just kind of like, okay, like I remember I remember sitting down last night. I'm like, okay, let's do this.
Did you give yourself like a speech before you watched it?
I remember I was leaving my den. I looked at Jennifer. I was like, I'm about to.
God
Did
damn
Time
she
for
watch it
Armageddon.
with you?
No. I was like, time for Armageddon. She's like, you're watching Climax now? I was like, yeah.
Fun fact.
Funfetti.
After we watched Longlegs, I was like, hey, do you want to watch Climax together so that like there's two of us that don't really like the movie? Do you want to? He goes, yes, please. And then come Monday, I'm like, I just want to stay home. I'm sorry. Brave it yourself. He goes, okay, I got this.
Yeah, and I like I said, the viewing experience wasn't as bad the second time around. And I will say, I'm gonna flip my opinion here. I liked that I saw it a second time. I'm not talking about the movie itself, what I thought about the
just
movie.
the viewing
I'm just saying the
experience?
viewing experience because I did enjoy this conversation, us all talking about it. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, it brought insight into the movie and more thinking about it, breaking it down. I was kind of like, okay, like
There's thought. Yeah.
there's thought, this things to say about this movie. And no, like I'll just leave it there. But like I said, I think I did enjoy it more the second time. I don't know if I'll watch it again, but I feel like, I'm not going to be in the I refuse to ever watch this again
Which
mode.
you were, yeah.
Yeah, which I was. Wow, this really is like a season finale. I've changed as a person.
It's called character
arc?
development.
Yeah, it's funny because I haven't really thought much about the score. A little bit, but I was just like, I got mine. I will say probably I would give this maybe we're going out of 5. I'm just kidding. I know, I'm
Yeah.
joking.
10.
I'll probably.
Oh my God, Travis.
I'm
you
just
really didn't think about it.
No, it's because
He's wrestling,
I'm
that's why.
I'm wrestling on a score.
He's wrestling with. I get it.
You didn't want to think about it
Did you
before
have a
now.
score before, and then after all this talk, it changed, or you just never really
That's the
thought
thing.
about
It's
it?
shifted a little bit, but I think it's maybe going up a little bit. Before,
Well, you can say a
I'm sure
4.9.
it's going up because you've already spent 10 minutes telling us
No.
how much more
So
you
what was it
like this
before?
movie than you
I
thought the
think.
first time.
Before I would have been like, this movie gets no score. No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
before the conversation.
Oh, it was probably at like a 2.
Damn.
Like maybe I don't know. That's the thing. It's like
You had a 2 on a movie you would never watch again.
no. This is after. No.
Oh,
This was
okay.
after
I'm
Before
second.
the
sorry.
conversation, yeah.
Misunderstood.
I was
Much like the sangria.
No, like this movie definitely would have been like a half a star or 1 star, like
Wow.
maybe before. But I think now having it sing the same, and that's the thing. It's like I feel like pre-discussion.
Why did we let him go first?
You all are asking me.
Well, you need to wrap this up. You have taken way too much
this
time.
is like the dancing
Just
interview in the
fucking
beginning.
give
We're
me a
doing a
score.
45-minute.
No, we're not.
I know.
Give the score.
Okay.
It's
okay.
avant-garde.
I'm gonna
Two.
do one for you.
I'll give
Oh.
it a. Okay. I'll go. I'll give it
1.
5.
All right.
2.5. Drugs are bad.
Okay. There you go. We finally yanked it out of him.
Hallelujah.
All right, everyone. I'll see you
He
all
pulled
next
out.
season.
Of the Sam, go.
Okay. I'm exhausted from his.
So, Frank and I had the same thought when we first watched it. We hated it. I hated it because it was just so dreadful to watch that I just couldn't handle it. And then again, I kept thinking about it days on end, and realized maybe instead of hate, it's a dislike. But I'm not gonna watch it again. There's no need. I'm good. Cut to the podcast, and also many years later, where I actually found my
This is only your second time watching it?
yeah.
I'm shocked.
Have you not paid attention to anything Sam was talking
Yeah,
about?
we can't hear
He's-
you because it's pointed
I'm
that way.
honest-
I know.
Honestly
Have you
shocked.
not paid attention to anything that Sam has said in this? I don't know. Fine.
Okay. But also, since watching it, I found my niche in like horror films, and that's just fucking dreadful. Just fucked up. So going into this and seeing all those things, and then reading about it and all that stuff, I appreciate it more. And then, I mean, his stuff, like his camera work, his lighting, it always adds to the mood and the story, so it's always fun to watch. And his movies have never repeated in technique, so it's a curiosity when he makes something. Like, I just want to watch it and see how he presents the story. It's never the same. So aside from like all the shit that happened, I appreciated everything that he's done to make this story, and I'll continue to watch his films despite, again, what he could potentially do. So I give it 4 dead drops out of 5.
Whoa. Has he done anything else since Climax?
Yeah, he did Vortex, but that's like a story about his dad, I think.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and he did a 3D porn.
Oh,
yeah.
Love. Yeah,
It's called Love.
Love.
Yeah.
That was him. They play that at the Arrow all the time.
Wow, it was on Netflix for a while.
Could you put your headset and bring the mic back in? Why did you?
Because
why did you do this? I'm rapping thing, and
No,
yet you're still sitting here.
Because I
Leave.
I had my cup and the ice was sliding down, so I didn't want the noise to be
That's
loud.
bullshit.
I thought you
So-
were making some kind of statement, like
No.
I'm dropping my
I like
mic.
it. It's a statement.
Frank, am I going last? Really?
Yeah.
All right, Frank.
You're going last. You're the one that needs to bring us to a climax.
See, Dan, you hear this?
I fucking hated this movie the first time I saw
Stop
it.
eating
I was
ice
really
then.
I was really disappointed with the movie versus my expectations for it, or rather, what I had built up as an expectation for what it might be. So going into it, I suggested it because I think the premise and the execution are interesting enough to cover, but I didn't really know if I was going to like it or not. So much like both of you, I did find myself liking it more on the second go round, but what really stuck with me was just how much more I liked it. Before watching it, I think the first time I watched it, I may have given it, like, I would have given it like a 1 out of 5. I really heavily disliked it.
Yep, same.
But going into it, I was not as bored or frustrated with the opening elements, the stuff that goes on for too long. The first time I watched it, I don't know how I missed it, but I missed the mid movie credits completely. So
Wow.
that's how disengaged I was with it. So seeing
Maybe
it this
you just
time,
forgot.
no, I don't remember those credits. They go on for too long too, but they're
Yes, they do.
stylistically, I think they're interesting enough to keep my attention anyway. But all the vile stuff is still really like vile and like guttural, but I don't know if knowing it's coming makes it easier.
The
But
Climax?
but the technical aspects just are so much higher than that I can't help but like really enjoy. Like, the film has a very nice visual texture to it. The lights, the lighting and the cinematography in particular, like you guys mentioned, it really takes a lot of inspiration from giallo films, which I caught this second go around because I have more of a appreciation for that genre. And I just got to give a shout out to that upside down red red room shot because it's spectacular, and I would rewatch that moment with the sound off, of course.
Yeah.
Multiple
The
times.
screaming.
Yeah, a lot of screaming. So having said all that, I'm gonna have to give it
5 out of 5.
Don't judge me. 4.5 out of 5. Gasp. Are Noes.
But
Right on, man.
Frank, I especially find it interesting because you always saying you were thinking about how different the film must have been because you said you saw the trailer with no audio.
Yeah.
So you were like, "Whoa!" So I think you kind of had it in your head.
It looked like a really trippy horror movie.
And
Though I did see the trailer with sound before I watched the movie.
Ah, never mind.
I just didn't expect it to be as like loose and like disgusting as it ended up being.
Here we
But
are.
here we are.
All right, Dan.
4.5.
All right, Dan.
Wouldn't watch it again, but really appreciate it.
Same.
Dan, wrap up season 2.
Yeah, wrap it up before the climax, Dan.
Ay.
Wow.
The jokes.
Wow. It would be so easy to say I hated this movie. I just saw it the first time. You guys saw it twice each. I didn't feel that. I didn't feel hate. I definitely felt need this to end. I've had enough. Don't need to keep going. I also had this sort of. I think we've talked about this in other movies, where I'll just get to a point where I'll just shut off and just stare. I remember seeing Evil Dead, whatever that last piece of shit Evil Dead movie was we watched in the movie theater, where I got to the basement, to the garage, and it was gone nuts, and I just stared at it. I'm like,
Oh, yeah, you
whatever.
said you were just like,
Oh, there's a chainsaw. They're cutting people's heads off. Okay,
Right.
whatever. I'm not going. And I had the same thing here. I get to a point where you can too much screaming, too much, and I'm just okay. Now, from a technical point of view, from a cinematography, from the staging, the choreography. Not just the choreography of the dancing, but the choreography of the scenes. The whole thing was very choreographed, even when it wasn't dancing. I mean, look, you can't ignore the work that took place. The really nice, beautiful is obviously not the film, but and just the way it was put together and shot is really amazing. Even just the hallway scenes, so much of the lighting, just so much of the camera work. Really, really well done. So from the technical part of it, I could really appreciate what this guy did. From a content, though, I think content is the thing that I leave myself with. And content is storytelling. And the story I found, no. I mean, there really isn't any story. It's a bunch of dancers, and they drink sangria with LSD, and then we go. But there's no story anymore. There's no plot. It's just watching this really horrible thing slowly, very slowly at times, unfold. Again, I think almost all the sequences are way too long. I think the setup is way too long. I didn't feel like I was ahead of it because I didn't really know where we were going. I didn't know if they were literally all going to start like biting each other's heads off and like murdering each other. I kind of thought that's where we were going, honestly.
I think they should have
I
done it.
thought it was going to become way more of a, if I may use sort of a zombie crazy ass movie where it was just going to be wild killing and maybe one person in there had enough sense left in them to try to be a survivalist. It didn't. That's not at all what the movie was.
That's mayhem.
So by the end of the movie, towards the end of the movie, I'm not kidding, I just needed it to end. I was just done. I was just done with the screaming. I was done with the yelling. I was done with the beating on each other. I was done with you pick your poison. Pick whatever you were done with. I was done with all of it. So hate is not a good word, but definitely exhausted. The movie exhausted me, and not in a good way. Do I ever want to see it again? I will not watch this movie again. If somebody asked me about it, I would never say don't see it. I think I would just try to check the temperature of the person that was asking me and say,
That's smart.
hey, mate, check it out. Why not? But I can tell you there are people I would say absolutely do not see this movie.
Joni.
Oh, I moved Joni. Boy, Joni.
Right before she goes to tap.
15 minutes into it, she would have gone, I'm good.
It's
Right before she
I'm
goes
good.
to right
I mean,
before she,
there's nothing in there she couldn't see.
right before she goes to tap dance. Be like, hey, you should watch this.
I even watched this dancing movie because this dancing movie is fucked up, man. But no, I mean, the guy made a movie, man. It's some really interesting filmmaking. The content. No.
All right.
So I'm going to end this season with no score. I have no score for this movie.
Wow.
And it's not because I'm trying to be a jerk.
Right.
It's because I really don't know how to score this movie.
That's
And,
it's
uh,
understandable.
Out of what?
So
Out of what,
I don't
though?
want to give it any. I don't want to say, well, technically
score
I'll
out
No
of
give
five?
score
it this,
items.
but
Oh.
content I'll give it. I don't want to go there. I just want to respectfully say I have no score for this movie. I'm not sorry I saw it. I will say that. It is something I will
That's
not
interesting.
Yeah.
ever forget. Whenever it says Climax to me, I'm going to go, you talking about that movie or what?
I already did.
What?
Thank you.
What? Yeah. I will probably go, for a
I
second.
thought you were doing something else at first. I was like,
But
oh.
yeah, but that's it, man. That's my
That's your climax?
that's my climax for this movie.
Thank you, everyone, for another
What
season.
a great second season. I
Well,
mean,
thank-
Grassy ass.
yay. I can't believe we're going to do a season 3. I
Yeah.
can't believe they picked us up again.
Thanks to all of our sponsors, Dan,
And Joni?
Yeah. Love our sponsors.
all
But
of our sponsors.
Season 3 will have a lot more things.
Dan's actually gonna run us out of
pairing with
studio.
our.
Dan's gonna run us out of studio for season 3.
Yeah, get us out of this effing cabin.
But no, because I think it'll be interesting because we have a lot of things coming out that's going to be paired with the audio. So it'll be fun
Yes.
to see.
And
Nice.
Very excited.
I'm super excited. So
And-
stay with us.
Excite.
Yay.
Share. Tell your friends about us.
Gas.
Join the fun.
What episode? How many episodes have we done?
I
Too
don't know.
much.
I don't know.
We've done a lot of
Several.
episodes.
We went from upgrade
More
to
than 2.
We from upgrade to climax. So.
We upgraded to climax.
I mean, yeah. We
Climax
got plenty
formation.
of content, folks.
Should we announce? No, you know what? We're not gonna say what the season 3
No,
opener is yet.
because we don't know.
No, but there
Uh,
may be a little preview coming up in a couple of weeks on.
And I'll say
on
it's a
stuff.
kind of movie we've never done before.
What?
Yeah.
What's happening?
You'll see.
Is it Singing in the Rain?
Singing in the rain.
No,
At
see,
some
that- I don't
point,
like
there's
that
singing
song
in
anymore.
rain. Yes.
Oh no, are we
Oh,
doing? Are we
no.
doing Dance in the Dark?
No.
No.
All right, everyone.
Now that's funny.
All right, this has been great. Great end of season 2. Thank you so much. Follow us, watch us, share us, comment on us,
Review.
and have a wonderful summer.
And don't drink the sangria.
My name is Dan.
My name is Travis.
My name is Sam.
Je suis Francois.
And it is Frank. And we are
Bye.
Gay.
out.
Like
4
give
shits.
up.
Wait,
Four
I've never
shits.
talked to you about this.
That's a lot of shit.
No,
I want to start a fortune cookie company where everything's like super, like really bad news. Your wife is having an affair on you.
I'm down for
You're
that.
Your kids hate you.
Hey,